What's up guys, welcome back to Toon Duelists. You guys voted, you wanted to see a Harpie deck profile, and today you get your Harpie deck profile. Now I'm really excited to show this one to you guys because the Harpies have always been one of my favorite archetypes out there. First of all, it's of course an anime classic, played by My Valentine in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. Then of course it's one of the oldest, if not the oldest archetype of all time, with the first cards releasing in Metal Raiders back in 2003. And with Elegant Egotist being one of the first spell cards that specifically name another card in their card text. Then of course it's also probably the most censored archetype of all times. I think every Harpie lady monster got a censorship in one way or another, just crazy. And of course don't forget that in the Harpie deck profile you're able to run the most powerful hand trap in the whole game and even search it out. Just an amazing deck up until this day. So I'd say without further ado, let's dive right into it. Alright guys, as always we're going to start with the monsters, and the first one we're talking about is Harpie Channeler. Definite 3 off because it's one of our combo starters, amazing card with the effect that you can discard a Harpie card and special summon a Harpie monster from your deck in defense position except itself. You can only do this once per turn, and also while you control a dragon monster, this card's level becomes 7. So this is not only an extender but also opens up the gate to all the rank 7 plays we have in this deck. So definite 3 off, amazing card right here. The next card we run 3 copies of is Harpie Perfumer. Also amazing card and a searcher because when this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a spell or trap from your deck to your hand that mentions Harpie Lady Sisters. Also, if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, when you activated this effect, you can add another card with a different name from the first one. So you either search 1 or 2 cards, which is just amazing. And of course, also this card's name becomes Harpie Lady while on the field or in the graveyard. The next and last 3 of we run in this deck are 3 copies of Harpie's Pet Dragon Fearsome Fireblast. Amazing one right here, because this level 7 monster has the effect that monsters cannot target level 6 or lower Harpie monsters for attacks, and if you control a level 6 or lower wind monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. Also, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send a Wind-Winged Beast monster from your deck to the graveyard. So it protects your Harpies, it is an easy special summon, and also it can Foolish when it is sent to the graveyard. Just amazing one right here. Next up, we run 2 copies of Harpie Lady 1. We just need it as a target for Elegant Egotist, and I chose not to run the vanilla Harpie. Of course, you can run it with Unexpected Die, but in the testing for this deck profile, it didn't really work out for me. And also Cyber Lady with 1800 attack points is of course great, but this one boosts all your wind monsters for 300 attack points, which I think in some situations is kind of useful. So I just chose to run Harpie Lady 1 right here. We can recycle it pretty easy, so 2 are definitely enough. Let's talk about the one-offs, and we run 1 copy of Harpie Oracle. This monster has the effect that its name becomes Harpie Lady while on the field or in the graveyard, and if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, you can special summon this card, and if it is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand that specifically lists the card Harpie Lady Sisters in its text during the end phase of this turn. So extender, recycles, but very specific extender, so it's better to search it out when the time is right, so that's why we only run 1 copy. Next up, we run 1 copy of Harpie Harpist. Also beautiful card with the great effect that of course this card's name also becomes Harpie Lady while it's on the field or in the graveyard, and when it is normal summoned, you can target a wind beast type monster you control and 1 face-up monster your opponent controls and return him to the hand. But the important effect actually that we use most often is during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard, because it was sent at this turn, you can add a level 4 winged beast type monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. So if you think about Harpie's Pet Dragon's effect, if it is sent to the graveyard, you can send Harpie Harpist to the graveyard and have another search in the end phase, which is just great, and that's also the reason we only need 1. Next up, we also run 1 copy of Harpie Queen. This monster also has the typical effect that this card's name becomes Harpie Lady while on the field or in the graveyard, and you can discard it to add a Harpie's Hunting Ground from the deck to your hand. So it's a searcher for your field spell, also with 1900 attack, kind of a beat stick, I guess. But most of the time, of course, we want to use it to search our Harpie's hunting ground. And then to finish off the monsters, of course, we also run 3 copies of Ash Blossom, one of the best hand traps, but not the best hand trap in the game, because we run the best hand trap, and you'll see that when we come to the traps. So guys, that's it for the monsters. Let's move on with the spells. First of all, we run 3 copies of Hysteric Sign. This card is just insanely good and one of your best cards in the deck. When it is activated, you can add an Elegant Egotist from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is already great because it searches you an extender. But actually, if everything goes right, you don't even want to resolve this effect, because during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard, because it was sent from the hand or the field this turn, you can add up to 3 Harpie cards with different names from each other from your deck to your hand, and this is just nuts, especially because you can search Featherstorm with this one. The reason we don't want to resolve the first effect is because we can only use 1 effect of Hysteric Sign per turn and only once this turn. But amazing card. Sadly, it's not searchable in the deck, so we have to run 3. We always want to draw into this one. Then of course, next up we run 3 copies of Elegant Egotist. Amazing old school card with the simple effect that if Harpie Lady is on the field, you can special summon 1 Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters from your hand or deck. So just great extender once you have a Harpie on the field. Sadly, most of our Harpies actually, if they catch Imperm or Veiler, are not treated as Harpie Lady anymore. So that's a bit of a downside right here, but still great extender, searchable, but you can never have enough of this. Basically, it's not even once per turn, so just great card and definite 3 of right here. And next up, we run 3 copies of Swallow's Cowrie. Just amazing card right here. This quick spell has the effect that you can tribute a winged beast monster in your hand or face-up field and add a winged beast monster from your deck to your hand with the same level than a tributed monster. So I've seen a lot of Harpie deck profiles still running Small World, and of course it totally makes sense. You have your pet dragon as a bridge and can search basically every Harpie. But Swallow's Cowrie actually does the same with less resources, also as a quick spell, so you can actually dodge Imperm or something with your Swallow's Cowrie. Just amazing. I don't get why people still run Small World. If you have the answer, let me know in the comments. But I think Swallow's Cowrie is definitely, for this deck, the better version. Next up, we run 2 copies of Harpie's Hunting Ground. This field spell can be tricky, but is also part of our important combos, because all winged beast monsters gain 200 attack and defense. Boring! And if any Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters is normal or special summoned, the player who conducted the summon targets 1 spell or trap on the field and destroys that target. Now this is mandatory, you always have to do it. So if Harpie's Hunting Ground is the last card or last spell or trap on the field, you have to shoot itself. That's a bit of a downside, but if you play it right, if you keep your summons and all the spells you want to shoot in mind, this is not really a problem. And of course, the great thing is it's one way to shoot our Hysteric Sign right here, to be able to add 3 Harpie cards in the end phase. We can search it with Harpie Queen, that's why we only run 2, and we can also search it with various other cards, but it's also not bad if you have it in your starting hand, so 2 is the best ratio after testing for me. Next, we also run 2 copies of Harpie's Feather Rest. Also amazing spell in my opinion, with the effect that you can target 3 Harpie Lady and or Harpie Lady Sisters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck and then draw a card. But if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, when you activated this effect, you draw 2 cards instead. So recycles, amazing card advantage, basically a pot of greed if played right. But for the rest of this term, after this card resolved, you cannot special summon monsters except wind monsters. Now, we do run some non-wind monsters in this deck, so this can be a downside, you have to keep this in mind. But in the grind game, just amazing one right here. You can search it, but again, doesn't hurt if you have it in a starting hand actually, because with cards like Elegant Egotist, you go through your Harpies very quickly. You'll have 3 Harpies in the grave very fast. Next up, we run 1 copy of Alluring Mirror Split. Not only amazing artwork with all the Harpies in it, But also a great effect, because this continuous spell has the effect that when a Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters you control is destroyed by battle, you can special summon a Harpie monster from your deck with a different original name than the destroyed monster. Also, if this card you control is destroyed by a Harpie card or your opponent's card effect, you can target a Harpie monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So even if you shoot it yourself, you can extend this way. So very versatile card, but as a one-off, definitely enough you want to search it out. Then of course we also run one classic Harpie's Feather Duster in this amazing artwork, because yeah, as you all know, Harpie's Feather Duster destroy all spells and traps of your opponent. But of course it's also a Harpie card, so you can search it and you can even recycle it with Featherstorm. So yeah, great card, but of course one is all we need and all we can play. Next we play one copy of Double or Nothing. So when I reveal this card, you know what's coming in the extra deck. Of course, we play Utopia Double. Just great card to have some OTK potential. When a monster's attack is negated, target that monster. It can make a second attack during this battle phase, and if it does, its attack is doubled during the damage step only. Amazing one right here. Can push Utopia to 10,000 attack points. That's your OTK potential right here. All the Harpies are level 4 and you need it, but you want to search it out in order to resolve all this combos with Utopia Double. So one is of course all you need and all you want. Then we run one Pot of Prosperity for consistency, because of course the Harpies don't really have a one card starter like this. So you have to get some combo pieces together to really go crazy, and Pot of Prosperity is the perfect card to help you with this. And finally, we also run 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet. Not only great monster negate of course, but the really great thing about this card is that you can discard your Hysteric Sign with this card, and Hysteric Sign will go off to give you the search of 3 cards in the end phase. So that's just another thing that's really great about running Forbidden Droplet in this deck. That's it for the spells. Let's move on with the traps. And the traps are finished real quick. We only run 3 traps, and we run of course the best hand trap in the game, which is Harpie's Feather Storm. Just an amazing card right here, with the effect that if you control a winged beast monster, until the end of this turn negate any monster effects your opponent activates. Doesn't matter where, in the hand, in the grave, on the field, just doesn't matter. Any monster effect is negated, and this is just crazy.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
And it gets even crazier, because if you control a Harpie monster, you can activate this card from your hand. Best hand trap out there. We want to search it with Hysteric Sign. Sadly, it's also the only way to search this card. But of course, we want to run 3. We always want to see it in our starting hand. Also, if this card in its owner's spell and trap zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, we can add a Harpie's Feather Duster from our deck or graveyard to the hand. Now, this won't happen too often, and that's already it for the main deck. So, for the extra deck, we start things off with 2 copies of Cyber/Harpie Lady. Amazing card right here. Level 8 Synchro Monster. For this card, Synchro Summon, you can treat any Harpie monster as a tuner, which basically means if you have 2 level 4 Harpies on the field, you can always get this thing out, which is just crazy good. If you keep in mind how many effects we have that get even more powerful if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, this one is so easy accessible, just amazing one right here. Also, its name becomes Harpie Lady while on the field or in the graveyard, and when a spell or trap card is activated, except during the damage step, quick effect, you can target a monster your opponent controls or one Harpie monster you control and return it to the hand. So, nice bounce effect, interruption in your opponent's turn. Also, of course, you can use it in your own turn to clear the field. Great card, and actually you can summon it out that easy that we want to play 2 of this. Just great one right here. That's actually the only Synchro monster we run. Let's move on for the Xyz monsters, and the first one we're talking about is Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. Also amazing one right here. Needs 3 level 4 wind monsters, which is quite a bit, but not a problem for the Harpies, if you think about cards like Elegant Egotist, of course. Also, this card's effects can only be applied and resolved when it has material. This card can attack your opponent directly, and your opponent cannot target any Harpie monsters with effects or for attacks. During each of your end phase, you have to detach a material. So basically, while you control this card for 3 turns, you'll be safe from attacks and effects, which is just crazy good. Of course, only targeting effects, but still this card protects your Harpie's pretty good. Attacking directly with 2000 is actually also not that bad. Great card, but 1 is of course enough. Next, we run 1 copy of Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. Also great level 4 monster, just generic 2 level 4 monsters, and once per chain during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, if your opponent has more total cards in their hand or field than you do, quick effect, you can attach a material from this card and destroy all other cards on the field, and for the rest of this turn, your opponent takes no damage. Well, the great thing about this one is not only, of course, it can clear the field real quick, but it also can help you destroy your Hysteric Sign to be able to resolve the effect. So you can add your 3 cards. Great card right here, but 1 is of course enough. Next, we also run 1 Ice Beast Xerophine. Also great card, needs 2 level 4 winged beast monsters, so any 2 harpies, and once per turn you can detach a material, negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls, and if you do, this card gains 300 attack for each face-up card currently on the field except itself. So just great card, going second to negate the whole field of your opponent and just run over them, for example with your Utopia double or with Xerophine itself. Then of course, as I already mentioned, we run 1 number 39 Utopia double. This card has the effect that, quick effect, you can detach a material from this card and add a double or nothing from your deck to your hand, and then special summon from your extra deck 1 Utopia Xyz monster except itself by using this face-up card you control as a material, and if you do, its attack becomes doubled, but it cannot attack directly. If you have already drawn into your double or nothing, this card is basically useless. This is kind of a problem, but if it all resolves, your number 39 Utopia will have 5,000 attack points when it comes to the field. What you're going to do is you're going to attack a monster of your opponent, negate your own attack with Utopia, then activate double or nothing, and your 5,000 attack point Utopia can attack once again, and it will get 10,000 attack points during the damage step. So basically, if your opponent has a monster with 2,000 or less attack points in attack position on the field, and you can get this thing off, it's an OTK. Just amazing combo. I love this about this deck, and you won't believe how many duels I've finished this way. Next up, we run some rank 7 cards, of course, and the first one we run is 1 Mecha Phantom Beast Dracossack. Also great card because once per turn you can detach a material from this card and special summon 2 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens. Also, while you control a token, this card can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. Now, that's not the great part. We can use this token as link material though, which is kind of great. And also, once per turn, you contribute a Mecha Phantom Beast monster, then target a card on the field and destroy it. So you can also, for example, summon 2 tokens, use the second effect to destroy a card using one of your tokens, and then go into a link play, also possible. So just great extender right here. Next, we also run 1 Raid Raptor Arsenal Falcon. Also rank 7 monster, great one right here, because once per turn we can detach a material from this card and special summon 1 level 4 winged beast monster from our deck, so basically one of our Harpies. Straight from the deck. If you think about Perfumer, it gets the search, so yeah, pretty decent right here. Then let's talk about the rank 7 basics, I guess. Of course, we run number 11 Big Eye. Once per turn, detach a material and take control of one of your opponent's monsters permanently. Great card right here. And of course, we also run 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Great card going first because it can't be destroyed by card effects while it has Xyz material. And each time your opponent activates a card or effect, you inflict 500 damage to your opponent immediately after it resolves. Now, going first, this can be really hard for your opponent, and he has to watch out that he doesn't activate 16 cards or effects, which in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is kind of a thing. And I also love the fact that we play one of Joey's Red Eyes monsters in Mai's Harpie deck. As you can see, of course, we run a lot of Xyz monsters, and of course, we also run 1 Zeus. Don't have to explain that one, pop the whole field. Just great card. And for our small link package, we run 1 Harpie Conductor first. Needs 2 wind monsters right here. Becomes Harpie Lady while on the field or in the graveyard, of course. And if a Harpie monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy a spell or trap you control instead. If you think about Hysteric Sign, for example, just amazing right here. Also, if another face-up Harpie monster you control returns to the hand, you can target a special summon monster your opponent controls and return it to the hand. So in combination with your Cyber Slash Harpie, this can also work pretty fine, but actually you won't use it that much. But the protection and potential spell pop is of course a great thing right here. Then we also run 1 Tribegrade, Ferrigid, the Baron Blossom. Also, great card in this deck, needs 2 Beast, Beast Warrior or Winged Beast monsters, and during your main phase you can special summon a level 4 lower Beast, Beast Warrior or Winged Beast monster from your hand. Also, you cannot use monsters as link materials for the rest of this turn except Beast, Beast Warrior or Winged Beast monsters. Doesn't bother us, we only run Winged Beast monsters. Great extender right here, and also if this card is sent to the graveyard you can draw a card and then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. Yeah, just great card for link climbing, for extending. And what do you want to climb into? Of course, 1 Magnite Crusadia Abramax. Also, just great card to protect yourself. This card needs 2 monsters special summoned from the extra deck, and while this link summon card is on the field, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, and the monsters cannot target monsters for attacks except this one. Also, once per battle during damage calculation, if this card battles a special summon monster quick effect, you can make this card gain attack equal to that monster's attack during damage calculation only. And if this link summon card you control is sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card, you can shuffle 1 card on the field into the deck. So, just great boss monster right here, protects your field. Hard thing for your opponent to get over, of course, and the Harpies sometimes really need some time to, gather all the combo pieces, so Abramax in the grind game can help you gain that time. And guys, that's already it for the extra deck. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, questions, definitely let us know in the comments. We're always happy to read and answer them, of course. Then if you want to see how this deck performs, definitely check out the test hand and combo video with the link in the description. Also, our poll is of course still open, so if you want to vote what deck profile I should do next, definitely check that out on our channel. And of course, if you like the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe, this would really help us a lot. And until next time, have a good one.